Hey there, I'm Townsend Coleman, and you are watching Tuned In with Jim Cummings.
Hey everybody, Jim Cummings here, and if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks everybody for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris with the legend himself, Jim Cummings. How are you doing today, sir?
Everybody's everything. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Thank you all for being here.
It sure is. We have some great content coming up
stuff
for you guys today. But before that, we have a couple announcements to make. We firstly want to talk about Rolanda Watts last week. I mean, what a great episode.
She is amazing.
She's just full of energy.
Smart as a whip, 10 times smarter than you. And and very, very creative. And we have to talk about her book. Should we plug her book? She's got her book. Come on. Destiny Lingers. You got to love the name itself. Destiny Lingers. Be there. You know what to do.
Yeah. Check out that book. And honestly, if you haven't seen that episode from last week, you should check it out. I mean, she's just such a positive person.
Yeah.
Has great motivational energy, for anybody who may be doubting themselves or wondering what their path is in the entertainment industry or even just life. I mean, she offers some really good gold nuggets of wisdom in there, I thought.
And she's pretty doggone awesome on Curious George. And that's where she and I first met all those years ago. Curious George, still going, PBS. Say hello to Rolanda when you get there. How about that?
Absolutely. Today we're sitting down and talking with Townsend Coleman, who you may know as the voice of...
Oh, my goodness. Well, he's 25% of the Ninja Turtles. And, I do want you to know that if his voice sounds slightly familiar and you're an old not Johnny Carson, but I should say Jay Leno fan, he was the voice of NBC forever and a day. And he's one of my favorite Ohio boys.
Yeah.
Because there's not many of us out there, and he's one of them. He's from Cleveland. I'm from Youngstown. Tune in. You're going to love it. Everybody loves Townsend.
Yeah, he strikes me as such a wholesome guy. I mean, he's so sweet, such a sweetheart.
Yeah, but watch it anyway.
All right, before we get into this episode, we just have a couple more announcements to make. Don't forget, please, if you enjoy this content, it really helps us out if you drop a like and subscribe. I know everybody says it, but it really does help. It'll recommend you more episodes like this, similar content. And if you're really digging this content, then you can find even more bonus content on Patreon. Just last month, we sent out a bunch of t-shirts and stickers and keychains to the Cummings crew. Shout out to the Cummings crew on Patreon. If you don't know what that is, go check it out. They know. We have monthly giveaways where you can win free autographed merchandise from Jim, and it's just a great little bonus content if you guys enjoy this. So check us out there. And if you wanted some t-shirts or some merchandise and you didn't win a contest, don't worry, fret not. You can check out Jim Cummings Closet on Shopify and you can get your own merch there.
That's right.
Darkwing Duck shirts, Winnie the Pooh shirts, all that good stuff.
So stay dangerous.
All right. And last but not least, Jim, you have some conventions coming up, don't you?
We should let the folks know. Here we go, folks. Now, coming up on, Denver NostalgiaCon, depending on the date you're seeing this, it will be April 25th through 27th. And apparently it's going to be in Denver.
It is going to be in Denver. And what else is going to be in Denver is me. For some crazy reason, you want to see this mug, I'm going to be there with Jim tagging along, riding the coattails.
Grooving heavily.
And we're going to be having a good time. We always do at conventions. I love traveling with Jim. It's always a good time.
Kick some butt and and take some names. And don't forget, let's see, we got the Patreon. Okay. How about the Birmingham, Alabama VXV? And it's the Iron City Comic-Con. That's going to be May 31st through June 1st. Sounds like a two-dayer to me. But be there. Come on by. Say hi. We'll be looking for you. And that's Birmingham, Alabama. Iron City Comic-Con, May 31st, June 1st. And the Riverwalk AnimeCon, it's in San Antonio. You got to love it. And it's going to be, if you've never been to the Riverwalk, it's really a cool place. A lot of great places to eat, a lot of great places. You can't surf the river, but it's going to, you're going to love it. But please stop by and say hi. And that's the Riverwalk Anime in San Antonio, May 17th and 18th. So May 17th, 18th, please stop by, say hi. We'll be looking for you.
All right, and without further ado, we're going to jump right into this week's episode. Coming up today with Townsend Coleman. We'll shut up. I'm producer Chris, Jim Cummings, the legend.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you enjoy the show. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Tuned In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris. Doing great today. Thanks for asking. Mr.
Yes,
Jim,
indeed.
the legend, as always. How are you doing today, sir?
It's another day in paradise on account of because, ladies and gentlemen, Townsend Coleman! And the crowd does go wild.
Yes,
Great to
yes.
have you, pal.
Thanks, buddy.
Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Wackadoo, two
Thank you.
guys, two white guys. Thank you, and we're done. So, yeah. So,
That was smooth.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
Smooth,
was.
<laughs>
delicious.
Yeah, thank you for being here today. Obviously, everybody knows you from The Tick. Everybody knows you from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as Michelangelo, and we just really appreciate you taking the time for us today.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Thanks,
do.
you guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, we do. So glad you could be here. So glad you could be here. And we got lots of cool stuff. And some of these things I didn't that we have in common, other than Ohio.
Ohio.
It's round on the ends and high in the middle.
There you go.
That's sad.
Bum.
What a sad little thing that was, interlude. But
Youngstown,
yeah,
right?
Youngstown.
Cleveland.
Well,
yeah.
I know it's the quote unquote the dirty city, and I would of course be the dirtiest city. So yeah, well, all love to Ohio and everything. It's a great place to be from. But in order to be from there, you got to leave.
Yeah, well, in order to be from there, you got to live there first.
Yes, and then realize you should leave.
I should go.
Yeah, yeah.
It's time.
And when did you know that you had this bug or whatever it is we've got, and said, I probably can't only go so far in Cleveland,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Once you're DJ, which you know all about,
Right.
you've done that,
Right.
and then what was it, like a natural progression for you? Did you sit there and go, well, if I want to do A, B, C, and D, I gotta
Exactly.
get a new alphabet.
Yeah. Well, I'd always wanted to either move to New York and do theater there, or to L.A. and do on camera stuff out here. And so I was on the radio in Cleveland for 10 years at 5 different stations over that 10 years. And it didn't take me long to realize that it is a thankless job.
Radio guys move around a lot.
Oh my gosh. And I didn't want to move around a lot. Yeah. In fact, I got, for my very first offer, I got an offer in El Paso, Texas.
And that's what you said, El Paso.
El Paso.
Hey, huh?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
So, so I didn't take that, but ended up breaking in Cleveland and ended up staying in Cleveland for the duration. But finally, after a decade, I realized, I'm done here. And I was doing a lot of theater and TV, and that's where I started doing freelance voice work.
Was that the Kenley Players?
That's where I got my equity card at Kenley Players in Akron.
No kidding.
Yeah, understudying for Robert Urich in Barefoot in the Park. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. There's a memory for you.
Yeah.
Barefoot in the Park.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I just wanted to do so much more. And I felt like I had kind of sucked Cleveland dry, for all the things that I wanted to do. I was pulling the Ohio lottery numbers on TV every night. And, it's sort of, I got to that point and I said,
okay,
it's really time to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to make my own lottery.
Right.
I got to win my own lottery. Yeah.
So when I turned 30 in 84, I quit the radio station I was at and was just planning on freelancing, actually, in the Cleveland area and in the Midwest, and was thinking about moving to the West Coast, but kind of just didn't have the guts to do it yet. But my landlord, we were renting a house at the time. Yeah. A couple of miles. As the crow
All
flies.
of the miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I know it'll be time when it's time. And then about 2 weeks later, got a call from my landlord saying that the house we were living in was going to be sold. In a couple of months.
And you didn't go, you weren't part of the furniture. So
I
you
was
had
not. So I was not going to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, maybe this is the right time to go. And so that was it. I just upped and moved out here.
Yeah, I noticed in reading, and I didn't realize. I mean, we have a few things in common, clearly, but one of them that was that we both realized right about the age of 30, time to do what I was supposed to do.
Right.
Time to I left Youngstown earlier. I moved to New Orleans for a long time, but
Right.
I farted around doing this and that, and I was in 100 different bands, and I knew I still wanted to sing, but doing it live and club to club to club wasn't the way to go. And I said, well, you got to go to California if you're going to do stuff that you want to do. Did you get that vibe? I mean, because you had used up of Cleveland. It's like, I got to go to California if I'm going to do this all the way.
Exactly.
Or it was either California or New York, as you said.
Right.
And apparently you made the right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just, Jimmy, you know how tough it is to kind of get in the door and get established out here.
Yeah.
But I feel like I came out at the right time. If I were coming out these days, if I were still 30 now,
Yes,
coming
right.
out in this environment now, probably wouldn't happen
Yeah.
for me. It was such a different time back then.
Yeah, it
40
sure
years ago.
was. Oh, God, yeah.
Do you guys think you still have to necessarily come out to LA for an entertainment career these days?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. What
Yeah,
do
it
you
is a
think?
tough one.
Because they shoot all over the place now.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Vancouver. I mean, they're overseas.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And they're
Probably
trying to
depends on
New
what
York,
you're aiming for.
New York, even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what kind of work you want to do. Obviously,
Yeah.
if you want to do theater, you're going to go to New York.
Yeah.
Or Chicago.
Chicago,
that's
maybe,
right.
yeah. But, for voiceovers, nowadays, unless you want to do animation, you can pretty much do it from anywhere.
Right.
Commercial,
Yeah.
promo.
Is that how you do it a lot these days, from home, recording?
All the time,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you were the king of NBC and Tonight Show for
16 years.
many
yeah.
moons. That was a sweet. That was a
Best gig I ever
wow.
had. Are you
Yeah,
kidding? Oh,
I remember
geez.
driving by because NBC's sitting there amongst a half dozen studios that you and I have been going to for decades.
Right.
And I remember driving by going, "How you doing, Townsend? Oh yeah, you probably can't hear me. Anyway, say hello to Jay. Say hello to Jay. So what a sweet gig that was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And what was it years ago? There was some, not a conference, might have been some kind of Comic-Con, but it was a gathering of all the various announcers. And Don LaFontaine was there. You were there. People known for their straight announcing. And it was sort of like a get-together of some sort. And it was a gathering. And I cannot think, I wasn't invited. So in my defense, that's why I wasn't.
So some fabulous confab that you were not at.
And I really appreciate that. Thanks for bringing it up. But
I don't know what that might have been.
I can't think of the name of it. But I'll be resentful and then I'll get over it.
You're not talking about like maybe the vocal benefit. You remember those?
Yes. Yes.
Way
Yes.
back when,
That
I
could
wonder
be.
if it might have been something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about those.
What's that for anybody who doesn't know?
Vocal voiceover cares about life.
Yep.
And we'd get together and just make a big squawk and then donate money to life.
That's right.
The charity du jour, I guess.
Right.
And I think Jeff Dana started that.
Yeah, Jeff did.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he was an innovative guy. He was great. And would you say that the right agent helps?
Oh my gosh, that was huge.
I mean,
because without an agent,
forget
certainly
that.
back then,
Yeah.
you were lost.
Yeah,
And
there was no interweb.
I knew one person out here that I had done children's theater with back in Cleveland, and she was married to David Jolliffe. Remember David?
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And she got me an interview with her agent, which was Special Artists at the time. Doug Ely and Jeff was the voice agent there. He'd only been there about 2 months at the time. And then David got me an interview over with Rita Venari. And so I met.
And that's where you stayed for many moons, right? Or you were?
No, with Jeff. Well, no, I was never with SBV.
Oh, you weren't. Oh, okay. I thought you were for some.
Yeah, Rita was real sweet. She said, "I like your stuff, but I've got a couple of guys who sound a lot like you, and it wouldn't be fair to them." And it turned out that the couple of guys were Rob Paulson and Cam Clark. So, yeah, I
Jeez, that's hysterical.
yeah.
And I don't think I maybe a little Rob, but not much Cam. Anyway, she lied.
Right. Neener.
Yeah.
So I ended up going with special artists, and Jeff was amazing. But I was only with him for just a couple of months because then he left a couple of months later to start the department at ICM with Bob Colvin. And I did not go over with him at that time. I stayed at Special Artists, ended up staying there for 4 years. And once he left, they replaced him with Elaine Craig and Libby Westby were my two agents. And they were fantastic. And they're the ones that got me into animation.
Yeah, good old Elaine Craig. Wow, I haven't thought of her in a long time. Bless you, my dear, wherever you are.
Really?
Yeah. Boy, good old times.
She's still casting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And rightly so.
Right.
Down on Sunset?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's wonderful.
Sunset or Hollywood Boulevard? Gosh, now I don't remember.
I think it's Sunset.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah. Across from it might be Hollywood Boulevard. I don't know. I don't know. Like it really matters. We'll get back to you on that, folks.
Right.
Well,
We have here a fun fact about yourself. You were on a show called Super Password back in the day.
Oh my God.
Do you remember what you won?
Yeah, $200 and a bedspread
And
a couple of gallons of paint,
yeah.
house paint.
Yes. House paint.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like 2 gallons of house paint, this really gaudy bedspread set, and $200 in cash.
Yeah. Well, see, I can top that.
Okay.
Because I was on a couple, 2 or 3 game shows.
Okay. Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Something with Wink Martindale.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, but I do remember I won a year's supply of rice-a-roni. Come on.
The San Francisco treat.
The San Francisco,
come on.
ding, ding.
Right.
And a $1,000 shopping spree on Rodeo Drive.
Woo.
that's not bad.
Well, it's a heck of a lot better than I did.
How many boxes of rice-a-roni?
Too many.
Was that?
Too many. All my neighbors, all my relatives. Here's some lovely parting gifts. Have some rice and yes, it is the San Francisco treat, and you had too much of that. Put it in the hot tub. Invite your friends over. Everybody's happy.
the rice-a-roni in the hot tub?
Right in the hot tub.
Man,
Everybody's
kill
happy.
2 birds with 1 stone.
Yes,
That is excellent.
yes.
Yeah,
But
that's
this
the
is so
appetizer.
cool. Yes. Now I've got some other fantastic facts about you, and okay, we got the super. I got a guy that helps us do these things, and it says that you auditioned for the voice of Ren Misugni, who I didn't even know that he had that last name, Ren and Stimpy. And
No, I
then,
did-
oh, really?
I don't think I ever auditioned for Ren. I don't.
We're firing this researcher person.
And if I did, I have no recollection of it. Yeah.
Oh, so then maybe that wasn't you.
might not have been. Maybe it was. Maybe it was John Cristofalusi.
Oh. Well, before the role went to John Cristofalusi, he eventually Billy West.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, eventually Billy West, because John Cristofalusi got it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he went insane. No, just kidding.
right.
Say
Yeah. No,
something
I
that
don't.
will
I have
get
no
me killed.
recollection of ever auditioning for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it might not have been me or you.
Yeah. I'll tell you who I did audition for is Wacko in Animaniacs.
Oh, yeah?
Until I heard Jess Harnell, what he came up with for it. And I thought, why am I even in this business? This is just ridiculous.
Do you remember your rendition of Wacko?
No. And if I did, I wouldn't be doing it now. No.
Yes.
Not for you.
I remember doing that, auditioning for it, and they said that they wanted them to have a natural character. And to me, I always thought that the Beatles, being, of the generation that I am, I always thought that the Beatles had natural character, a Liverpool accent.
Sure.
And so I just said, I was just thinking of doing him maybe perhaps from Liverpool. And he said, and I remember a guy who shall remain nameless goes, hello, they're American? I don't think so. So, and that was it. And then
Jess.
2 weeks later, I run into Jess. He goes, dude, guess what? And I go, what? I'm going to be one of the Animaniacs. I go, which one? Dot? And he goes, no, Wacko. Dude, guess what I did for it? What? A beetle. No way, that's great. God damn it.
Right.
You know.
A Liverpudlian.
A Liverpudlian.
Is that all right for you?
Yeah, he knows his way around microphones.
I know. I was just asking if it was good.
Now it makes me feel like
I want you to be
sit up here.
comfortable. No, it picks up fine.
Yeah, there you go. Well, cool. The strange things that we both left Ohio, I guess, like around, what was that, like 30-ish or something?
Yeah, I was 30.
Yeah, you were 30.
You too?
Yeah, well, I was a little before that, but I got here. But you get left and came here.
Right.
And that's kind of...
Yeah, you went to New Orleans.
Yeah, I went to New Orleans, but I got here at the same time.
Right. Well, did you get to L.A. in 84?
Something like that, yeah.
84, 85?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember meeting you for the very first time. We were doing a session for, I think it was Kingdom Chums.
Yes.
And you were doing some like lion or something like animal.
Yes.
And
I've got that in here somewhere too.
And you
so
had
you're
this,
right.
you had this enormous voice. And I was sitting sort of to the side of you, and I heard that come out of your face the first time. And I'm telling you, I nearly fell off my chair.
Oh, good.
Dude, I'm like, who is this guy? Who has a voice like that? That's insane.
What was the, let me see, do I have that character? I can't think of what it was. Can't think of what he sounded like. Because I've got that written down here. Oh, wait, you know what? It was Goliath. I was Goliath.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah. Yeah, so he had to.
I just remember it's like.
Do you remember what it sounds like, Jim?
Biggest freaking voice.
The Israelites. You know, you have to get up. You have to get up. On,
right.
You Israelites, you little weasel, feel my rap. Oh, damn! Excuse me, give me a minute.
Yeah. You know? Oh man,
I gotta lay down.
But boy, I heard that, and I just said, "This." I don't know how I ended up in this business. I'll take it, but these are the guys who own it.
Did you ever do impressions or anything
I'm
younger?
A terrible impressionist. And I'm an okay mimic kind of ish. The only voice match thing I ever had to do was for Fraggle Rock. And when we did the animated version of that for NBC.
Oh yeah, that's right. It started off as the puppets, didn't it?
Yeah. And so for whatever reason, the original voices from the Muppet version of it didn't want to do it or couldn't do it, didn't have the time. I don't know what it was.
I think they were all in New York anyway, weren't they?
Could have been. Yeah. But so they were casting for voice matches. And I thought, well, yeah, okay. They called me in. And I thought, I think I can get kind of close to a couple of these. And ended up booking a character on that, Gobo.
Yeah.
Gobo.
And had great fun doing that.
Oh, that's good stuff. Can you give us some Gobo?
Well, sure, yeah. Gobo, we're going to go exploring in outer space with my Uncle Traveling Matt. You're going to come along with me, aren't you?
I remember
Come on,
Traveling
let's go.
Matt. That's
and then
right.
we're going to get back and eat some doozer sticks.
And there's sugar in them.
Yeah.
Then we're going to do whatever we want.
Yeah, Robbie was on that show. He was Boober. And Marjorie the Trash Heap.
Oh, okay. And who was that? He was Rob? That was Rob?
That was Rob. Yeah.
Marjorie the Trash Heap.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm going to have to give him some crap over that one.
Yeah, dude. She was like this Russian, this old Russian woman.
Oh,
she was
a babushka.
A babushka. It was very funny.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Well, that's good stuff. Yeah. So what is your favorite thing nowadays, man? What you go to conventions, obviously. I mean,
conventions.
like those.
That's it. I mean, that's my job now.
Yeah,
I'm really
me too.
not working anymore.
Yeah. Not a hell of a lot. Yeah, same here. Not much.
Yeah.
Doing this, hanging out with you.
That's right.
But that's not work either.
That's right.
And I always have joked around that I made a living doing the stuff that used to get me kicked out of class. So it's like, if you do something you like, you never end up really working.
That's right.
Working.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I've done that. And did you ever have? See, because I worked in a steel mill. I bet you can't top that one.
I never worked in a steel mill. My first job was Baskin Robbins, so that's not quite
That's
as
close.
tough as a steel mill, but very close, right? Scooping the rocky road. No, my one of my early jobs that was hard. It doesn't sound that bad, but I detested it. But I needed the dough. Was I was a truck helper for a carpet company. So basically, I went with the carpet layer every week, and we had to haul these big rolls of carpet.
Oh, that's fun.
Up, several flights.
Well, those
of
are
stairs.
really light too.
Oh God, I'm telling you, it was hard. And because I was not a carpet layer myself, I basically was the gopher. So I had to go, get the guy his tools and get all his scraps and just all that kind of stuff.
And that thing that you do with your knee.
That's right. They called that a kicker.
Wow, I did that too.
Yeah. What?
I did that too. For
As a job?
As a summer, like a summer job. I think we were, it was in New Orleans, and we were between guitar players. And, your guitar player quits and gets married, or your bass player, oh, great, we got to get somebody else in here. All right. So you had to get a job.
Right.
Because I only made like a couple hundred a week ever singing rock and roll or playing, and that was enough to live on back then. Because I thought I was a king. But once that dries up, like this week, next week you're hungry. So you got to do something.
Right.
So there I was. I couldn't sell my blood every day.
Right. You can only give blood so often.
Yeah. Right. And I did. And that's fun facts to know and tell. Probably a little too much information there, but anyway, but it paid off.
Right?
I think.
Yeah.
So far, so good. I'm hanging out with you. That's a plus. Very cool. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, we have to talk about the Ninja Turtles, of course. I mean, we've now completed the saga. We've had all of the Ninja Turtles on Toon'd In with Jim Cummings.
That's true.
We've done it.
Jeff Barry in?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
All
Barry,
right.
Barry, Paul, Cam.
Yeah.
Rob Paulson. Sorry, not
Paul Robson.
Paul Robson.
I was Paul Robson.
Yeah.
His evil twin.
Yes.
That's right.
And of course, Jim played Shredder among Leatherhead and some other characters. Did you guys ever work in the studio at the same time? Do you remember on that show?
Yeah, I remember. Sure.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I have you on video.
Yeah.
Is that so?
During one of those sessions. I've got so much
with
old
the long
hair.
With the long hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And his drumsticks in his
And
back
dark.
pocket.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Still have the sticks.
I'm trying to grow my hair out to match that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But those must have been some good sessions, some good times. Yeah.
Oh, they were great, man.
Yeah, you guys
a
got
lot
to tell
of
us some
fun.
stories about those times.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. And our director, Sue
Blue.
the great Sue Blue. She of the where she live? Hawaii now, I think, or some. I don't know.
What's that?
Where is she these days?
I think she's out in Palm Springs.
Palm Springs. I was close.
Palm trees and both.
Palm trees.
Yeah, the other side of LA.
The other, okay, maybe not, but those were good times.
But yeah, of course, you voiced Michelangelo in the show in the original series, and how did that come to be? Was that was one of your earlier roles? Was it not in voiceover?
Kinda, yeah. It kind of came out of Fraggle Rock because our dear friend Stu Rosen was the voice director on Fraggle Rock, and came into one of our recording sessions one morning and pulled out of his briefcase a Ninja Turtle comic book, and he showed it to us, and he said, "Look at what I'm going to be casting and directing next. I'll bring you guys in on it." Which he did, and so it was just another audition for another show. There was nothing, odd or special about it, other than the name. I mean, when I first saw because I'd never heard of it, and when I saw the comic book, I was like, "Okay,
sure.
Good luck with
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles."
Yeah. This is back in the days of Strawberry Shortcake and My Little Pony.
Oh, that's true.
And, stuff like that.
So you didn't really have an inkling of how big of a show it was going to be.
Absolutely no idea. No.
Yeah, and you don't.
No, you don't. I mean,
you don't.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to work. And
I mean, some of the shows that I've done that I thought were going to, go for years and years didn't. And then some of the shows that I kind of didn't expect it from did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will take it. Well, back in the day, it used to be you'd always want to shoot for those 65 episode shows.
Yeah.
Because that was like job security. Okay. Okay. Got this year in the bag. What year is it? Okay, good. You know, it was okay, good.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite memories working on that show?
I'm terrible with these questions. Trying to come up with something.
Did you say memory?
Yeah, memory.
Hold on.
Chris, what
I've
memory?
heard of that. I remember something about a memory, but
Yeah, you know, actually, probably some of my best memories are of just the times in the studio that we had with the cast. I mean, some great people like James Avery. You know, I'll tell you one of my memories, which is not actually from our session, but sort of kind of tangentially related, was when James got his audition for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I drove him down to his audition.
Really?
No
Yeah,
kidding.
because we were doing the show, and you know this guy never wore shoes. I mean, he wore sandals, flip flops into sessions, but he always kicked them off. You know, and he had feet the size of a small
Canoe.
cruiser.
Oh, yeah.
But just a big, joyful, really jolly, genuinely happy, nice guy. I mean,
yeah, hell of an actor too.
Yeah, and so I drove him down to his audition. He says, "I've got this audition. I don't have my car with me today. Any chance you could give me a ride down?" And I said, "Sure." So I ran him down and waited for him and picked him up and brought him back. And and the next thing we heard is he got this part. You know,
So you
in
gave
this
him the energy
new
he needed.
sitcom with Will Smith and
Yeah.
these folks. And then of course talk about not knowing something's going to turn into what it turns into.
Yeah.
And then he's off and running, which was actually the reason we lost him on the show. He was just too busy with Fresh Prince.
Yeah. I remember running into him a couple of years later, and I guess there's a magic amount of shows, like 3 years or 4 years at a sitcom, and he goes, "Well, one more year of this, and I've got my FU money." I said, "What's that?" He goes, "They're going to rerun it. I mean, you do it for this 3 or 4 years, they're rerunning it." And I'm just going, "Okay, thank you," and then you make deposits.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, okay." now I know.
Yeah.
So reruns, I gotcha. Residuals,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And then when
mental note.
Yes, yes.
when he left the show, did you take over right after that, or was there somebody in between?
Shredder. Yes, Dorian. Dorian Harewood was in
Dorian
between.
and Bill Martin. Remember Bill Martin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
For a short while, he was Shredder also.
that's right. That's right. Then I came in, and none of us were Asian.
Right.
A couple black guys got whatever Cummings is. This other dude over here. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. Typical.
Right.
Oof.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we weren't on camera, so it was just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that I'm curious. Do you when you go to conventions, is it a good mix between the Tick and the Turtles, or?
It's funny, because I go out to these conventions with the other Turtle guys.
Sure.
And so we're there. And so ostensibly, I think people are coming to see the Turtles. Mm-hmm. And so when they meet me, they're expecting to meet Michelangelo. But then they see my banner and some of the other characters that I've done and my pictures on the table. And they see the Tick there. And they go, "Oh my God, the Tick! Were you on that show?"
Oh yeah, were you on that show? Well, funny you should ask.
I said, "Yeah, I was on it." Well, who were you? I said, "Well, I was the Tick." And then the look on their face, like,
Yeah.
just, what? I had no idea you were the Tick. And so clearly, I have not done a decent job of promoting the fact that yes, I did this character.
You should. Was your response a single? One syllable response, as in spoon?
Yeah.
Because that would have done it.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give us a spoon?
Spoon!
Yes.
And don't count. So one of my favorite lines that the Tick said was in fact, one of my favorite episodes was an episode that Jimmy did this great character. His name was Barry. And he thought it was called The Tick versus the Tick. And Barry thinks he's the Tick, the real Tick.
Yeah. I actually remember this episode.
There's this, God, it's
Oh,
hilarious.
God.
And there's this scene in the superhero lounge
Yes.
with a sidekick lounge out back.
Right.
Remember?
The sidekick lounge.
We're in the superhero club or whatever it is.
Yes. Oh my God.
And I'm in there, and Barry comes busting in the door, and he says,
Who is this jerk called the Dick? Is that him?
I am that jerk. Who wants to know? And then we sort of chop it up, and then he leaves in a huff. And then my favorite line is, "Yeah, well, don't count your weasels before they pop, dink."
Yeah.
That show is just hilarious.
It really was.
And this man right here, you did so many great bad guys.
Yeah, a few of them, yeah.
And another one of my favorites of yours was Thracker Zog.
Yes. Yes, Thracker's out. I've got him.
Versus the Uncommon Cold.
Thrackerzog.
Yeah, I've got him.
My gosh.
I've been doing this podcast with Jim for almost 2 years now. I've never heard of Thrackerzog.
He did this
I need to hear that.
He did this great James Mason. Do you remember that?
Oh
Do you remember
God,
that
yes. Yes, and there was an interlude where the Dick and you keep mispronouncing my name.
Well, no, I'm teasing
Or
you.
you're teasing
about
that,
your name,
yes.
Thracker Zog.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Laxative log.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and we're arguing on the roof.
Yeah, yes. No, that's ridiculous.
Sapsucker frog.
No, that's not my name. You.
And it escalates. And finally, at the very end, I say, Susan.
Yes.
Now, and he says, now you're just.
Yeah, and now you're just being obsequious or something or some ridiculous. Oh God, I remember that. Can't quote it with a gun to my head, but I remember the.
But yes, you were that Thracker.
Yes,
James Mason.
just James Mason.
Yeah.
They have not one brain among them. No, wait, I'm blending it into Orson Welles. Never mind. Okay, let's get out of here because I'll screw up everything. I'll hex myself for going forward. Oh man.
I was listening to an interview of yours, and it got me thinking, just throwing it back to when you first moved out to California. You already had 2 kids? 2 kids or...
I had 3 kids.
You had
when I
3
came out
kids.
here. Yeah.
So was that as some added pressure or, as an entertainer,
Maybe,
having to support 3 kids?
Yeah. And
Can you tell us a bit about that?
I didn't come out with enough money.
You too, huh?
Yeah. And I thought I had, because in Cleveland, it would have been
Enough
a
money.
king's ransom. Yeah.
Right.
But out here,
That's
no.
funny.
And my wife was very, very worried. And she said, so what if it doesn't happen for you? I said, if it doesn't happen, I will go get a job. I'll sell cars. I'll wait tables. I'll do something, And after I'd been out here about 6 months, it was getting a little tight. And she was starting to, pepper me with, so job now?
Yeah, looking at the watch.
Right?
Yeah.
Naturally.
And I just, I just kept, I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
And then before I knew it, about 6 months after I moved here, I got my first national network on-camera TV spot.
What was that? What were you?
Kraft barbecue sauce. I was sort of a Jimmy Olsen type character, a reporter with a camera taking pictures.
Oh.
And I went straight from that audition, that callback that I got, to meet with Marcia Goodman for an audition for Inspector Gadget.
Aha.
Yeah. And
that was Deke, right? Wasn't she with Deke?
Yeah. And it was a crazy audition. It wasn't in a studio. It was just in her office. And she had a little Radio Shack cassette deck and a microphone. And that was it,
Wow.
But I'd never auditioned for a cartoon before, so I didn't really know what the situation was. But I'd done characters on the radio, so I thought, well, this could be
Same thing,
fun.
only different.
Yeah. So she handed me the paper. I saw the picture, and I thought, I think I know what this guy sounds like. And so I did it for her, and she liked it. And a couple of days later, they called with a booking for my first cartoon session over B&B Sound.
Oh, sure.
Remember that?
Yes, I do. Very well. Very, very well.
Yeah, and so
that was it.
And so that, and then I got my first little part in a movie with Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What
all
was
this
in the movie?
happened. It's called Black Moon Rising. Yeah, it's a very small part. I was just a waiter with like 2 lines, but my scene was with him. So
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
It was kind of a kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but all this happened within 10 days.
Wow.
This on-camera national TV spot and Inspector Gadget, and then this session for this movie.
And then you said, "I told you so."
And so that summer of '85, I was in Fat City, and thinking, look at this, I made it.
Yeah, that's right.
And then by Christmas, I was broke.
Yeah.
I literally had to sell my car, borrow some money from my mom to pay my rent. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah. Well, we all had those days, I think. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I remember the last job that I had was singing telegrams. And it was the worst. It was Easter. It was Easter time. And so therefore, I had to dress up like the Easter Bunny. and I went, "Happy Easter, happy." I couldn't name the song with a gun to my head, but it was some happy-go-lucky, generic, public domain Easter song, and I've never done anything like this before, and it was a full head helmet, Easter
And you're
Bunny
singing
helmet.
inside this head.
Yes.
Right.
And you know where this is going? Yeah. I was dressed. Happy Easter to you. Wow, it's really hot in here. Happy Easter to you. I'm running out of oxygen. Happy Easter. I hope everybody's happy Easter. And I pull it off and it can go, and I traumatized this child. The Easter Bunny just ripped off his head.
That's excellent.
And I just, oh God, and I this was free. This was free. No, it's on me. It's on me. Keep the story.
Right. Exactly.
Oh God.
God, I know what that's like being in those suits, because my first job, really in showbiz, was when I was 17, and I was in the road show of the Banana Splits.
Flipping like a pancake, popping like a cork, Fleagle, Bingo, Drooper, and Snork. All around the banana buggies run, flipping and a-hopping in the bright, warm sun.
God, listen to you. I couldn't have sung that.
Wow.
I couldn't have remembered.
I couldn't remember a couple words, but then...
I remember the tune, but man.
Yeah.
Excellent, yeah. So I was Bingo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the orange orangutan, the drummer.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
With my drumsticks. Yeah.
That's right.
But the deal was, it was a 22-minute pre-recorded show. All we were doing was up on stage miming it. But we were doing it in,
100 degrees.
Center parking lots, grand openings of car dealers, stuff like that. And boy, I'm telling you, I lost about 5 pounds of water weight every show.
I bet.
And it was rough being in that suit. Yeah, 100 degrees. And I
Yeah.
get out and God, it was brutal. That was a brutal job.
What? And
It was
give
fun.
up showbiz?
Right?
Ooh.
Exactly.
Yeah, the things we do for our craft,
Right.
but then, it makes for good stories.
Yeah, right.
As long as you don't have to relive them, you can retell them.
That's right.
Much better than reliving them.
Right.
Oh, that's great. Oh, man. So we should find out some really cool stuff about, before we go, where you're going to be appearing and things like that. But we don't have to do it right now. I'm just reminding you to remind me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we got a bunch of cons coming up this year.
Very cool.
I don't remember exactly where they are. We're going to be in Chicago, I know, and Indy, yeah, and Wichita next weekend.
Wichita. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, kind of all over the place. Going to be in San Antonio, I know, and I don't know.
Love San Antonio.
I do too.
Yeah, I love that place. That's great. Well, good for you, man.
When you do conventions, do you like to do it with the other Ninja Turtles cast as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I go out occasionally by myself.
Yeah.
I'd much prefer to be with them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
the whole crew.
And I wonder, do you remember doing Father Joseph and I'll give you a hint. It was in you were Father Joseph.
Crippled Lamb, or if it wasn't the Crippled Lamb, because there are a couple of shows that I did a similar character.
Oh.
So give me another hint.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Yes, let's see. Well, Phil Hartman was half of the title characters in it, and I guess I was the other
Buster
half.
and Chauncey's.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, Silent Night. That was it. And you were good old Father Joseph.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, I think if I'm not was Jodie Benson in that also? Or maybe she was in The Crippled Lamb.
Yes.
She was in one of them, I know.
Well, she was in The Little Mermaid, too. I understand.
She was in that.
I'm pretty sure of that one.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah. That's right. And I was her dad in the last one. So I felt really, it has nothing to do with anything. But I said it too late. And there you go.
What, in The Little Mermaid?
Yeah. The last one. Ariel. See?
There you go.
There you go. That's all you have to do. Kenny Mars.
That's right. Ken Mars.
Yeah.
You were a DJ for years in Cleveland. Were you ever in a band? Were you ever playing an instrument yourself? No.
I'm not musical like that. I play hand drums.
Yeah. But you've done musical theater,
A whole
correct?
slew of those things, and I've done a lot of musical theater.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can sing on stage, and I can cartoon sing.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
I can sing in character, but if I have to like just sing,
It's nice to
as
have a
me,
character.
I don't know. Because I think of myself as not a singer.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
but then when it comes, because like the last show I did in Cleveland in '82 was Pirates of Penzance, and I sang the role of Frederick
No kidding.
in that. So I mean, I can sing.
Wow.
You know, and pull it off. But I was never in a band. I never, because I don't play an instrument or anything, and I just never had the confidence to think that this was something I could do. That was always something that these guys did. You know, Ron
Yeah.
Paulson,
Well, a lot of
Jeff
us,
Sarnell.
the reason I have a mini theory that people who sing and they've been in a band or whatever, they gravitate toward VO because they're used to these,
For sure.
but you did it anyway through radio.
For sure.
So you have it's same thing, only different.
Yeah, and I did characters on the radio too. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you had your own little slew of characters that you.
I did, yeah. When I worked at an AM Top 40 station in Akron.
In
I did a
Akron.
morning drive down there. Yeah.
Nice. You have any of those with you today? Any of your old characters like Farmer Clem or City Slicker
No,
Joe?
The only name that I remember was Lieutenant Dink Latrine.
Dink Latrine.
Latrine, and I couldn't tell you what he sounded like. And I've got all these old air checks, all these old tapes.
Oh.
But I don't have a reel-to-reel machine. But I want to get one so that I can transfer all that to digital because I'd love to hear some of that stuff, from all those years ago. That was 1978.
Ooh.
I was there. Yeah.
They were.
You should say that like
They were just. Ooh. Wow. Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
No, I mean that. I remember that. I was just barely, scratching the surface of scratching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, but you had a pretty good intro to it. You didn't have a ton of, downtime between making a normal living and doing what you're doing now. You seem to transition rather easily.
I did, and it really was because of the agents that I had.
Yeah.
And they were pushing me a lot, and I was starting to get some great commercial accounts. And then this fluky audition for NBC in 1993.
Yeah.
Standing in Jeff's office, and he gets a call from NBC. I'm looking for this kind of sound, and I literally happened to be standing there talking to him, and he says, "Well, I've got your guy right here," and he hands me the phone and he says, "Just do your Fensky." And so I talked to the guy, and he says, "Yeah, could you just say, And so I did it for him. He says, "Wow, that sounds great. Could you come over here and try it on a promo?"
Wow.
And I said, "Sure, when?" He said, "This afternoon." Yep.
Yeah. Look at those ones.
5:30. And so I beat feet over to NBC, over to Burbank, and and the thing is, Danny Dark, you remember him?
Oh yeah.
Was the voice of NBC.
Oh gosh,
and I was a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
And he had just such a great voice, and all his all his accounts, Chevrolet and
Yeah.
Anheuser-Busch.
Only Tony would be a fan of a normal sounding, perfect announcer.
Announcer,
You know, an announcer guy. Everybody else is like, well, I like Mel Blanc, or I really like Danny Dark when he would say, coming up next.
I'll tell you where it comes from.
But that's wonderful.
Is because when I was on the radio and I was a production director, I was the guy who was responsible for getting all these tapes in and transferring them to card. So I would always be hearing these national announcers and listening to them. And I was just starting to do voiceover work myself, and I thought, I could learn a thing or two by listening to these guys. But I would get those tapes in from Danny Dark and Mark Elliott. And
Oh, sure. Oh, my
Chuck
gosh.
Riley. And I started to remember these names and go, I'm going to go out to L.A. one day maybe, and I want to know who these guys are. And so I was always already a big fan of Danny's. By the time I met him for the first time, I was doing a Keebler spot. I was a Keebler elf.
Oh, wow.
And Danny was the VO at the end of the spots. That was his account for years and years. And I remember meeting him, and I'm not easily starstruck, and generally not starstruck by genuine stars, but guys like Danny Dark.
Yeah.
I was, and he came in the door at the end of the session, and I was like, Shay, I wanted to
that's
meet
crazy.
him. And so I got a chance to meet him.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. But anyway, went over to NBC and sat down at Danny Dark's chair, at Danny Dark's mic, Danny Dark's headphones, and I was like,
here I go.
how in the world did I end up here?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it, they liked what I did. They put it on the air that night, ended up calling me back like every day for the next 2 weeks, and then ended up giving me their Tuesday night lineup. And then a couple of months later, they gave me the Tonight Show. And by that time,
Ding, 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 ding.
happening. And God, what a blessing. I mean.
Yeah, no kidding. That's fantastic.
And how do you see something like that coming? It's the kind of thing where if they had put out a casting call, and you had like 50 guys audition, I never in a million years would have gotten it. If it hadn't happened the way it happened, and that's been the way my whole career.
So me too.
Right?
Oh, it really, really is. I mean, I had no business breaking in as
but you
cleanly
did.
as I did.
But
yeah.
you did though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I did ultimately.
Right.
But I mean, you think of it. I've joked about it before. Well, because like at conventions, people say, "Well, how did you break into it?" And I go, "Well, first you get a job in a steel mill, and then you move to New Orleans and you design Mardi Gras floats for a few years. Then sing in a couple of strip joints on Bourbon Street. Then you make a demo tape, and then you go move to Hollywood."
Right.
Are you sure that's how you do it? I go, well, yeah, I'm telling you, it works.
Exactly.
I only know that it worked once.
Right.
It might not work twice,
right.
But give it a go.
Right. Can't hurt.
Yeah, can't hurt.
Never know unless you try, right?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Well, I've been trying ever since. So far, so good, right?
It's still,
knock on whatever it is we're sitting on here.
I'm going to ask you a very cliche question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Do you have a favorite character to voice, like to actually perform the voice? I know everybody says, I don't have a fit. How can I? They're all my babies. But like to actually perform the voice, do you have a favorite?
I mean, that's a really tough question.
I know.
Because I enjoy every character that I've done. But some of the ones that are right at the top are Gobo. But then it would be a toss-up between the Tick and Michelangelo.
Yeah.
They're both just, I feel them in my bones.
Yeah. I can really tell with the Tick, too. Like,
the Tick, for sure.
I was hoping you would say the Tick because it seems like you genuinely enjoy that character and just get a real kick out of it.
I absolutely did, Chris.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And when I auditioned for it, they didn't cast me.
Really?
Yeah, it was Ben Edlund, the creator of the character and the show.
Oh, wow.
The artist, the comic.
Right.
Yeah, he actually voiced the first episode.
I didn't know that.
And then they decided that he wasn't quite right
Tickish
for what they were looking for.
And what was it like? Was it reminiscent of yours? Did he?
I couldn't tell you because I never heard it.
Oh.
But I will tell you this, that I was talking to Ben, and Ben told me this story, and he said, and he was laughing. He said, the guy who told me that I wasn't the Tick was my dad. He said, son, I love that character, but you're not the Tick.
Wow.
And, yeah. And so they had
So they had to take it to heart.
Yeah. So they had some callbacks, and they called me back in, and I was really hoping I'd get it because I just felt like I got this guy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I just.
I know that feeling. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And he was so much fun to do.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Everybody loved the Tick. Dude, what's not to love? He's just this big, lovable oaf.
I know. I couldn't be more happy.
Oh yeah, well that's one of those. And one of my favorite things is his antenna. Right. They were always like, "What did you say?" It was like, they were very indicative of his mood. They were like little mood rings.
Yeah, right.
Mood antenna, something.
Mood antenna.
Mood antenna. Yes. Oh God Almighty.
That's great. Well, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna. If you have anything to say, I was gonna change the topic completely.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we had such a great cast on that show as we did on Ninja Turtles. And when you're working on a show with a great cast like that, all you want to do is go to work.
Yeah.
All you want to do is just be there doing that.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I miss working the way I used to work.
Yeah.
I'm 70 now, and it's to be expected that things are going to slow way down. And,
Sure.
And I'm sort of getting used to this kind of retirement thing. But I did get to do a session this morning.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
And was reminded all over again how much I love this business.
Yeah.
When I'm working.
Love it.
When I'm working, right.
When all I'm doing is auditioning and not booking, it gets a little old,
Yeah.
a little long
in the tooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far, yeah. I mean, well, the only thing that I do regularly is Mickey Mouse Funhouse, Clubhouse, Outhouse. House of,
Are you doing? Oh, what are you doing?
Pete. I'm Pete.
Pete, that's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Well, there you go, buddy. Good pals with Mickey the Mouse.
That's right.
And so, yeah, he's still going. He's tied for first place as the oldest Disney character. He was in Steamboat Willie.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Me and the Mick.
Well, you've been in the Disney fold for pretty much your whole career.
Yeah, literally my whole career.
Yeah.
The first thing I ever did was Dumbo Circus. Yeah. Yeah, and I was Lionel the Lion.
Yeah.
And Dumbo's pal, Katie Lee, was Dumbo.
Yeah.
And Hal Smith was in it, the great Otis Campbell, if you guys remember, Andy Griffith and Walker Edmiston. And
of course, both those, Katie Lee and Hal Smith, are Adventures in Odyssey, a Christian radio drama that I've been doing.
Yep.
I've been on it. It's been around for 35, 36 years. I've been on it for 30.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I did like 3 or 4. Back then. Will you have them call me back? I miss them.
Right. I'll mention that to them.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
I'm still semi-wholesome.
It's the semi
It's
part.
the
We're
semi.
a little worried about it. Cummings.
Yes. But I promise I won't bring any potty words. I promise.
Right.
Otherwise,
That's
that'd
good
be
stuff.
bullshit. We can't do that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we have a little game that we like to play on this
Yes, we do.
podcast.
Oh, you're not going to make me think fast, are you? Because
No.
No, think very
No.
slowly.
Okay, thank you.
It's a little voice swap game. So how it works is Jim will do a line of one of his characters, let's say Winnie the Pooh, and then you'll say that same line in one of your characters. So say you'll say it as the Tick or Michelangelo, and then we'll swap back and forth.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure,
just like
okay.
a catchphrise line, and then we'll do it in both voices.
All right.
If you're down for that.
Oh, yeah, that sounds fun.
All right. Now, did you ever play Shredder? Did you ever voice Shredder?
I did, but not intentionally. And what I mean by that is, so when James couldn't make a session, they would have me dummy him in with the idea that once the animation came back, they would bring him back in the studio.
Sure, yeah. And then he'd loop it in.
Loop his lines.
Gotcha.
They didn't do that. So that happened to me with Shredder. It happened to me with Splinter. It happened to me with Krang, if you can believe it.
Wow,
Yeah.
Krang.
Yeah, because I was just sort of their go-to guy to dummy these voices
Right.
in, and I
Wow.
would try and approximate them. But again, like I said, I'm not an impressionist.
Yeah,
You know.
Krang especially. That's
Oh, that was brutal.
Pat Fraley, folks, in case you
Yeah.
were wondering.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, what, it sounds like a condition. Manifesting.
And I think actually it was.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ooh.
But and so my voice ended up on the finished cartoon, you know, in some of those characters, and it's embarrassing to hear people, you know, come up wanting to be signed Shredder, and I'm like, I wasn't
Right.
Shredder, but I know you were, but it says you were.
Right.
Yeah, it says you okay. Well, you know, you could put Shredder Light.
Right.
See, because of funny comedy humor joke. See that? Oh boy, yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, do we want to start off with Michelangelo and Shredder?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you should go because Shredder didn't. He wasn't very. I'll let you start it off, and I'll do.
So what do you want? You want me to
Just like a Michelangelo catchphrase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And then I have to-
Cowabunga, but
And then I have to do it as Shredder.
Yeah, and then you'll do it as Shredder.
okay.
Okay. Stay tuned, folks.
Okay. All right, dudes. We're going to be noshing on a little of my fave pizza, anchovy and hot fudge.
All right, dudes, we're gonna be noshing on a little bit of my fave pizza, anchovy, and hot fudge, damn it. Fudge, what else would I be noshing on? Anchovies and fudge.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You accursed turtles.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
All right, Jim.
Okay, so now-
it's your turn to pick a character. Who haven't we done in a little bit?
How about Bonkers D Bobcat?
How about Bonkers?
Good old Bonkers. D stands for D, by the way, in case you're curious. Ooh, everything pops into my head, ends up sounding a little R-rated. I have to purge a little bit here, folks. Let me come up with something here. Oh boy, it just keeps everything.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And Bonkers never cusses or anything like that. He doesn't even.
But Lucky, how can I do that? I don't understand. What are you? I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
Do you want
was
to do that in the
Bonkers.
Tick's voice?
All right. Yeah, indeed. But Lucky, how can I do that? I don't even remember what you said. It was something like, wait just a minute. Are you talking to me?
There you go. Yes. That's
Love
damn
that.
fine. That is damn fine.
Did you get told growing up, like, you should be an announcer, you have a radio voice? Like, to me, I just hear it, and it's like, I don't even have to know your career to know that you've done some type of radio work. It's just so natural to me.
You know where I think part of that came from is my dad, because my parents actually met working at NBC in New York
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
at 30 Rock. And my dad's goal was to be a network announcer. But his job was he was the head of the tour division in guest relations. So he was the boss of all the pages there.
Gotcha.
And he never made it. And you had to audition for it, and they wouldn't audition him. And so he, in a fit of frustration, moved us from New York. I was a year old at the time, out to Denver. Yeah, which is where I grew up as a small child. But I remember listening to my dad had this big reel-to-reel tape machine that he had gotten from NBC Radio when they were remodeling. And so he had a lot of these old tapes of old radio dramas. And
Oh, I love those. Yeah.
yeah, and he would play these, and he had this big speaker. It was a 15-inch speaker in
Whoa.
a cabinet that was in our little family room there. And I would lay on the floor and put my ear up against the grill of the speaker, just listening
boy.
to these radio dramas as a 3-year-old kid, thinking that these people were all inside this box.
Yeah.
And I think it was the magic of that is what was born in me to want to do a lot of this. Because my dad, he worked on the radio for a while in Denver, and then quit and got into a whole different line of work. But he used to listen to comedy albums all the time, and these old radio dramas, and he was such a radio guy. You know, it amazes me that he never quite made it in that business, because he could have been good, I think, but I think he didn't have the mental fortitude to just deal with all the nonsense.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of, you're knocked down 3 times
Exactly.
in order to, just make it across the room.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's where this was born in me. So, and my dad was very much about being an announcer, a stentorian announcer. You know? He produced the Bob and Ray. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
The comedy team. Produced a radio program for a couple of years when he was in.
And they were on Ed Sullivan even, I think, a couple times.
Yeah. And so I think that's where it came from, it's sort of in my blood, certainly in my ear,
Yeah.
in my childhood.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. And when did you know that you were going to do this? Was it literally when you were like that young?
Yeah. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be an actor since I was in 4th grade and saw the first production of Peter Pan.
Oh, there you go.
Live theater. And I just went, oh.
Yeah. Did you like Peter or Captain Hook?
Captain Hook.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I played Captain Hook once with my daughter Raleigh.
That's
and
right,
up
in
T.O.
Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks. Yeah,
Right.
that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and I played him as Don Carnage from Tailspin. Just so you know,
Of course.
I had to do it.
Yeah.
He did Pirate of the Caribbean. I am Dos Mucho. I can tell you this right between the face. Good stuff.
Man.
Okay, we have to get one more voice swap before we go.
We do indeed.
We have to get Pooh saying Cowabunga, and then Michelangelo saying "Oh bother."
There we go. Okay. Well, I can remember my daughter Raleigh being completely enamored of the Ninja Turtles when she was wee little.
No kidding.
And for some reason or another. And we rented go-karts once, and she couldn't stop saying, na 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 Batman, Cowabunga dudes. And I said, honey, they don't know each other. Batman.
They've never met.
The Batman and the Turtles have never met.
But it was
Batman, Cowabunga. Okay, that's good. That's
But
fine.
it was the original mashup.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's true. I never thought of it that way. She was very innovative for a 3-year-old.
Right.
Oh, man. Jeez. Okay, so, no, wait. Am I supposed to come up with something?
So,
Oh, wait, or do you?
I don't know.
Who did?
Pooh, Cowabunga. I'm being the dictator on this one.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
So do I say it and then he says it as poo, or does he just?
Yeah. Let's do that. Cowabunga, and then oh bother.
Okay.
As your respective characters.
Okay. Again, it's Michelangelo.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cowabunga!
Cowabunga, dudes.
I forgot the dudes.
Yeah, I figured I'd throw that
I should
in.
put that button on.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay, so let's see. I owe you one. Maybe jump over to Darkwing, or should we?
Sure, we can do
stick in the
Darkwing.
Pooh?
Yeah.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
I'm the terror that flaps in the night.
Dudes.
Yes.
That's
that was
entertainment,
great.
ladies and
That
gentlemen.
was great.
And that's how you do it.
That certainly
You got
is,
that?
right?
I hope you were taking notes out there. Huh?
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah, that was great.
Townsend
Jimmy.
Putnam Coleman. He didn't think I remembered his middle name, but I did. And the first time you told me your name, he said, I've got 3 last names. Townsend Putnam Coleman. 3 names.
The third.
The third.
Yeah.
Wow.
The third.
Did you know that?
No, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I'm the third. So,
That's cool.
yeah, I was always little towny growing up.
Oh,
My
I
dad
mean-
was big towny.
Oh, yeah.
Why I changed my name to Scott in college.
That sounds like a good astronaut name.
Scott?
Coleman.
Oh, Coleman.
Scott Coleman.
Coleman.
You know, it sounds like, yeah. I don't know why. Kind of like Scott Glenn. Was that what a Glenn? Anyway, never mind. Never mind. Talk amongst yourselves. But thanks for being here, buddy.
Here we go.
I'll take us out here.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah,
so much.
thank you. And thank you all for watching. That was another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching here on YouTube. And a big thank you to all of our Patreon donors. We just did a little giveaway the other day. We gave out some shirts. We did some signed autographs. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you for all your support. And if you don't know about Patreon, head on over Tuned In with Jim Cummings on Patreon. There's a whole bunch of bonus content. There's extras, extended interviews, all that good stuff. And as always, I'm producer Chris, Jim Cummings, Townsend Coleman. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Woohoo!